Assalamu alaikum, beloved gems of spiritual miracle tale. You are unique and chosen by Allah to receive these heartwarming stories. May these reminders of His love and mercy enrich your life, bring you peace, and fill your heart with gratitude. You are truly special, and your journey matters here. The throne and the consequence. One day, Bahlul entered the grand palace of Khalifa Harun al-Rashid and saw that the mighty throne stood empty. He looked around, and seeing no one to stop him, he strode up to the throne, chuckling to himself. "Well, let me see what it feels like to be in the shoes of the Khalifa," he said with a mischievous grin as he sat on the throne. But before he could settle in, guards rushed toward him, furious that anyone would dare sit on the Khalifa's throne. They yanked Bahlul down, whipping and beating him mercilessly. Bahlul fell to the ground, bruised and battered, and began to weep. At that moment, Harun al-Rashid entered the hall and, surprised, saw Bahlul crying. "What has happened here?" Harun demanded. "Why is Bahlul crying?" The guards explained the incident nervously, fearing Harun's anger. Harun scolded the guards for their treatment of Bahlul and tried to comfort him, but Bahlul shook his head. "My dear Khalifa," he said, wiping his tears, "I do not weep for my suffering, but for yours. I sat on your throne for mere seconds, and see the punishment I received. You, Khalifa, have sat on this throne for a lifetime. Have you ever wondered what consequences await those who rule unjustly? If this is the wrath for a moment, what storm must be gathering for you?" Harun stood speechless, Bahlul's words echoing in the silence. A friend, a donkey, and a lesson. One day a friend of Bahlul's was returning from the mill with a heavy sack of grain. He loaded it onto his donkey and headed home. But near Bahlul's house, the donkey began to limp, then collapsed altogether. The friend, frustrated and tired, called out to Bahlul for help. "Bahlul, my friend," he pleaded, "lend me your donkey so I can get this burden home. Mine has failed me." Now Bahlul had taken a vow never to lend his donkey to anyone, so he scratched his head, searching for an excuse. "My friend," he finally replied, "I don't have a donkey to lend you." But at that very moment, Bahlul's donkey, tied up behind the house, let out a loud bray. The friend raised an eyebrow, looking at Bahlul suspiciously. "Strange," he said. "You tell me you have no donkey, yet I hear it braying right here." Bahlul smirked and replied, "Ah, my friend, isn't it strange indeed? You have known me for 50 years, yet you choose to believe the bray of a beast over the word of a friend. Perhaps it's not me you doubt, but the truth that's too hard for you to hear." With that, Bahlul left, leaving his friend with much to ponder. 3. Bahlul and the thief in the mosque. One day, Bahlul entered the mosque for prayer, wearing a new pair of shoes he had just bought. As he looked around, he noticed a man eyeing his shoes with great interest. Instantly, Bahlul realized that the man was a thief, ready to snatch his shoes the moment he removed them. With a clever plan in mind, Bahlul stood to pray but kept his shoes on, much to the surprise of those around him. The thief, irritated by this, whispered to him, "Bahlul, don't you know you can't pray with your shoes on?" Bahlul smiled knowingly and replied, "Yes, I know my prayer may be incomplete with my shoes on. But tell me, who truly stands empty-handed here, me without my prayer, or you without shame?" The thief, stunned and embarrassed, slinked away, and Bahlul finished his prayer, shoes and all. The gift for the needy Khalifa. One day, Khalifa Harun al-Rashid handed Bahlul a small pouch of gold coins. "Bahlul," he said, "I want you to take this gold and distribute it among the poor and needy. See that it reaches those who need it most." Bahlul took the pouch, bowed, and left. But after a moment's thought, he turned around and returned the pouch to Harun. The Khalifa looked at him, puzzled. "Why do you return this gold?" he asked. Did you not find anyone needy? Bahlul sighed and said, O Khalifa, I searched for the poorest soul in your kingdom, and my journey ended with you. I see how you drain the people through taxes, filling your treasury while the common man starves. You hoard wealth endlessly, and yet you crave more. Who could be poorer than a ruler endlessly hungry for riches? Harun fell silent, Bahlul's words piercing him deeper than any blade. Each story ends with a powerful message on Bahlul's wit, wisdom, and fearless insight into human nature and power.